Hello YouTube, and welcome to another theory lesson from VanDike. So the topic that I want to talk about today is the musical keys and key signatures. So personally, according to my own experience, I've seen that a lot of people find this subject really hard and confusing, so they try to avoid it as much as they can. So today, I'm gonna go into details of creating the keys, and I'm gonna talk about how they are even created. And for the people who don't feel like watching the whole video, you guys can jump to the last 2 or 3 minutes and watch the abstract of the video, but probably you're gonna lose the details. So I suggest you to watch the whole video. Now, in music, you have a key. That key gives you a series of notes which are allowed in that key. Based on those, you will create different scales and then chord progressions. Now, the method that I'm going to be using for explanation, it's pretty mathematical and logical. So, in mathematics, when you want to prove something, you have an assumption, and based on that, you will prove what you want. So our assumption is that we know there is a key called C major key. Now the reason we've chosen that key is because there is no sharps in it. It's the most simplest key, and it gives us the ability to take out the interval that we're looking for. So what is the interval that we're looking for? The interval is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So we're going to use that interval to create different keys. In this video, I'm going to explain only the major keys, because the minor keys are exactly the same as major keys. The only difference is they're 1.5 steps lower. For example, the C major key is the same as A minor. That's why I'm not going to talk about the minor keys. It's just make you more confused. And I suggest you, if you're taking tests such as conservatory tests or examinations, do not confuse yourself with minor keys. So, the major keys have 2 types. Keys with the sharps and keys with the flats. I'm going to start with the keys with the sharp. Through the whole procedure, I'm going to obey 3 rules, and I'm going to apply these 3 conditions. First, I'm going to start and end on all the notes, meaning all the notes in music. Second, I'm going to apply the C major key interval to all. Third, it's kind of close to the first one, but it's not exactly the same. All the notes must be sharped or flattened. Having that said, let's go and find the major keys with sharps. So, as you can see here, I applied the first rule that we talked about, which was starting from all the notes. So why not pick D, which is after the C? So what I did was I picked D and ended on D, and then I tried to apply the interval of C major. So let's see what happens. D to E is a full step or a whole step, everything's fine. Now, E to F. So, if F is going to remain F, this won't be a full step. So, what are we going to do? We're going to raise F and make F sharp. By doing that, we have a full step here and we have a half step here. So, fixing this part, also this part gets fixed. G to A is 1, A to B is 1 or full. Now again, B to C. So this was C before. There was no C sharp, right? Same here. That's why I say C first and then C sharp. So if here was meant to be C, we would not have a whole step. So what again we should do is raise C and get to C sharp. So here becomes a full step, and here becomes a half step. fix this part, you'll fix the other part. So here you see that two notes appeared that they have sharps, which is F sharp and C sharp. Now, let's just start from E and do the same procedure. You will see that two other notes will add, G sharp and D sharp. I'm gonna skip F, you'll see why. And I start from G and end on G. Same procedure, there is only one note that has sharp. Same for A and same for B. The note after B is C, so we cannot start from C because we already know C major. Let's take a look at the third rule. So the third rule told us that all the notes must be sharp or flattened at the end, eventually. So here, there are two notes that are not sharp yet, E and B. So let's see how we can make them sharp one by one. Now, the only way to have E sharp is to start from F sharp and end on F sharp. So this way you have F sharp to G sharp, 1, 1, half, 1, 1, 1, half. Here was E first, but you have to sharpen it in order to get a 1 here and a half here. So you have E sharp. Actually, E sharp does not really exist. You don't have a note called E sharp because it's F. But you will encounter E sharp in music theory a lot. And the only way to make the B, which is the last one, sharp is to start from C sharp. So start from C sharp, end on C sharp, all the notes are sharp. Now, for more ease, the musicians decided to create this shape. So we don't need to write all of these to find out what key are we in and what notes are sharp. So this shape tells us exactly the key and the notes that are sharp. So I'm going to give you a quick explanation about this. So this is our staff. We're talking on G clef. You are in the key of G, and the note that is sharp is F. You see, if you start on G and end on G, that means you're in the key of G, and the only note that is sharp is F. This tells you all that. As you move forward, whatever had become sharp stays sharp. Meaning, in the key of D major, you still have the F sharp and the C sharp, as you can see here. So C sharp is new, but you still have F sharp. In the key of B major, here, you have F sharp, which was in the very beginning. You have C sharp, which was here, and you have the new sharps as well. So whatever becomes sharp stays sharp. That's the most important thing. Now, again, for the people who want to take the conservatory examinations, a very quick tip. Try to memorize G, D, A, E, B, F, C, but remember that these two are sharp. The last two are sharp. That gives you the key, and the notes that are sharp are exactly the last note before the name of the key. Meaning here, the note that is sharp is F in G major. Here, the note that is sharp is C, as you can see, plus F. Here, the note that is sharp is G, as you can see here. Same thing here. The note before F is E, which is a note that becomes sharp in the key of F sharp major. Same thing for C sharp. The note before C is B. That's the note that becomes sharp in the key of C sharp major. the major keys with flats. Now the main reason that they were created, remember the first rule? We had to start from all the notes and end on all the notes. So in the major keys with sharp, we did not start from all the notes. So some notes remain. So we're going to start from those notes. So the notes that we did not use in the major keys with sharp was F, D sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. Also, there is another thing that we will do. We all know that D sharp is the same as E flat. G sharp is the same as A flat, and A sharp is the same as B flat. So instead of writing A sharp, because it's not going to work, so to make it work, we're going to write the other forms of these three, meaning E flat, A flat, and B flat. Okay, let's start from F, which I've mentioned that I'm going to skip F when I was explaining the majors with sharp. So F to G is 1, G to A is 1. Now, A to B is not half. Well, it should be, so that's why we change B to B flat. So here's becomes half again. This part is fine. The rest is fine as well. So here we have a note with a flat. Now we're gonna start from A sharp, which is the same as B flat. A new note becomes flat here, which is E. Same thing happens here, and same thing happens here. So ending on A flat, starting and ending on A flat, meaning from until here, we've covered all the notes. We've started on all notes and ended on all notes. But what was the third rule saying? All the notes must be sharpened and flattened. So there are still notes that are not flattened, G, F, and C. So let's see how we can make them flat one by one. If we start from D flat and end on D flat, G flat appears. And if we start from G flat and end on G flat, C flat appears. And if we start from C flat and end on C flat, F flat appears. So the keys with flats are more disciplined, I can say, comparing to the major keys with sharps. Again, the musicians created this shape for the E's. It tells us the key and it tells us the notes with the flats. So here we have the key of F major. Here we have the key of B flat major, E flat major, A flat major, etc. In order to find the notes that are flat in the specific key, if you have F major, the note that is flat is the name of the next key. Meaning you have F major, but the note that is flat, it's B flat. Now the B flat happens to be the name of the next key. Same thing happens here. For example, if you have E flat key, the flattened notes are E flat, A flat, and B flat. Which A flat is this, but you have the flattened note in this key. So another thing comes up here called enharmonic keys. So what are they? Look at these three, starting from D flat, G flat, and C flat. The thing is, if you pay attention, we can rewrite these with sharps. We had actually. Because D flat is the same as C sharp. G flat is the same as F sharp, and C flat is the same as B. And we have those keys in the major with sharps. So we can conclude the keys that have 5 or more sharps or flat are the same and called enharmonic. So that's it. There you have it. All the keys written down. If you have any questions, just leave it down below in the comments. And if you like it, please give us a like and subscribe. You have two types of keys, major keys. You have sharp and you have flats. You have the keys with sharps and with the flats. Now, the keys with the sharps, this is how you show them. The sharp sign on the staff tells you what notes are sharp. It also tells you the name of the key. So it's better to memorize G, D, A, E, B, F, C, but remember F and C are sharp. The last two are sharp. That's the name of your key. And in order to get to the notes that are sharp, you just need to go back one note from the name of your key. For example, G, the note before G is F. So the F is sharp. Or here, D, the note before D is C. So C is sharp in the key of D major, for example. And remember, as you move on, whatever becomes sharp stays sharp. Meaning, for example, on the key of E major, you have F sharp, you have C sharp, you have G sharp, and you have D sharp. Same thing happens with the flats, but with a little difference. So you still have this shape, which tells you the name of the key you're in, starting from F major, B flat major, E flat major, A flat major, D flat, G flat, and C flat. Now, in order to find the note that is flattened, the notes that are, or the note that is flattened, is the name of the next key, plus the notes that were flattened prior to the current key. For example, here, F major. The notes that is flattened, it's B. And what's the name of the next key? B. So this note is flattened in the key of F. Let's take a look at the key of B. B flat, sorry. You still have B flat. Same rule, whatever becomes flat stays flat. So you still have B flat. And what's the name of the next key? E flat. So E is flattened.